Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa azwajihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilman ajma'in insha'Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase in all of us knowledge. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, once again, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making it possible for us to finish book 2. It was His grace and mercy which kept us going in spite of all the weather problems that we have encountered lately. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala immensely for His kindness and His mercy. And you should all be congratulated, heartfully, for, coming regularly, working hard, and understanding book 2 in a very, very nice way, inshallah. And it will pave way for book 3 for us. But now, before we start book 3, I always feel this is very important that we do some little bit of study on derived verbs. We call it fi'lu thulathi, mazid fihi. From 3-letter verbs, other verbs are derived. So these are the derived form of 3-letter verbs. If we study this little bit, not too much, because we cannot go in too much detail, then it will become very dry for you. Little bit. And it will strengthen us in our verbs, conjugation of the verbs. So, we start today, brothers and sisters. I will be doing something like this today. These are supposed to be equal, but now I'm not an artist, brother. So, it's called Form 2. Form 2. Also, we call it Bab Taf'ilun. This is something I'll be explaining you, brothers and sisters. Okay, Bab Taf'ilun. Okay, and you have to remember one thing, brother. Sama'iyun and Qiyasiyun. You will remember these two terms, brothers and sisters. Now, fa'ala, which is the root of the verb. It is a pattern which the scholars have given to the root of any verb. It is divided into 3 letters: fa kalima, ain kalima, lam kalima. We say first radical, second radical, and third radical. The city authority has given permission to fa'ala to build a house with 3 rooms only. Every radical occupies 1 room. Okay? So they have 3 rooms which the city has permitted to build. We got to get city permit before we build the house. Now, in Arabic language, which is the most beautiful thing, brothers and sisters, that when you want a different shade of meaning, you go to the root and add something. Instead of creating an altogether new verb, you create from the root. This is an amazing thing about Arabic language, brother. I know a little bit of Urdu and Gujarati and Kutchi, and we know English. These things are not there in those languages, But in Arabic it is amazing, brother. Normally, fa'ala, we call it form 1. Form fa'ala, we say form 1. Or you can say base form. Now, they decide to extend the house. But the city cannot give permission. The city has given permission for only 3 rooms. No, they want to extend it. So city says, okay, make a small room. Okay, no more. Okay, so then we make a small room now. Huh? Okay, we make a small room. Huh? And we give to Ain Kalima. Okay, so what is now happened? What is the verb now? Fa'ala. Huh? Fa'ala. Huh? So it became like this, brother and sister. Fa, a, la. Fa, small room for ain, huh? Which became fa'ala. The study of fa'ala comes in lesson 16. In that lesson we go in detail. But right now we'll just explore it from the surface. Fa'ala. So whenever you'll see a shadda on ain kalima, huh? Remember ain kalima, the possibility will exist that it is from form 2. We call it form 2. Okay, brothers and sisters? Also, it's called bab tafa'il. Now this is, you will find it in the books written in Indian, Pakistan subcontinent. Especially the grammar, Arabic grammar books written in Urdu, you will find this terminology. When I was studying in Lahore, I came across this. First, it said, I know form 2. Why should I remember bab tafa'il? I know form 2. But then later on I realized, in order to understand things in a nice way, it's also important that we should call it bab tafa'il. So I will be asking you and telling you form 2 as well as bab tafa'il. Because that tafa'il thing will make things very clear, inshallah, and will make you very strong. Okay. What is tafa'il, brother? Tafa'il is the pattern of the masdar that you derived from form 2. It is the pattern of the masdar. And I thought, this is nice. Okay. So all the forms that will be doing it, we will be calling it form 2, form 3, form 4. But at the same time, I would urge you to memorize the pattern of the different forms. Now, why so important about this pattern, brother? Okay. Fi'l thulathi mujarrad, the pure 3-letter verbs, brother. Okay, which we call it base form or first form, brother. How do we make masdar? Are there any rules, regulations? No. There are about 40 patterns of masdar from fi'l thulathi mujarrad. But this is too much. I want to go home now. I can't study 40 patterns. But then, you do get gabrified. That is too much. How we are going to memorize it and remember it. But Dr. Abdur Rahim always says, do not sit down and memorize it. As they come in front of you, you remember it. Okay? For example, brother, sajada yasjudu sujud. So it is fu'ul. Huh? Okay, and that's one pattern. Huh? And then nasara yansuru nasrun. Fa'alun. See? Dhahaba yadhabu zahabun. Zahabun. Huh? Fa'alun. Like that. Are you with me with that? So these are the patterns. They are called sama'i. What are they called? Sama'i. As people heard other groups speaking these different forms of pattern, and they incorporated in their vocabulary and language. Now I am in my thoughts, I always say, okay, Arabia, at the time of Prophet ﷺ or before, it was all small tribes staying in certain areas,